Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the King and I Life podcast, hosted by us, Soul Touch the Poet, and my family.
Son Soul X.
Phoenix was having issues, but hopefully she'll be able to jump back in with the fray. But we're talking about COVID vaccines, vaccination. So we're going to jump back into it and keep this conversation going. So since the vaccine has been proven to be generally safe, why are people so against it? What say you?
I would say, just from the people I've been talking to, they don't trust the government. That's one of the major things about it. They just don't trust the government. Again, a lot of them go back to the whole Tuskegee situation. And then there are a number of other cases where, the government has subjected people to basically inhumane experiments, and not just indigenous people to this land, or blacks or Chinese or white, whatever you want to say. We've all gone through it behind the hand of what some feel our government is doing. Again, there's so many people saying that they feel like it's another way to take away their rights, or another way of separating us. The list goes on, and of course, people are entitled to their opinion. But for the most part, what I'm hearing is people, they just don't trust this government, and they damn sure don't trust the medical community.
Yeah, when you say that, it's remarkable that a lot of these people who have that position, they're basing their decision on stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the vaccine. When it comes to separating us, it's like, who's being separated? They're trying to get it out to everybody. When it comes to Tuskegee, I can be understanding to a degree. When it comes to, a lot of the other apprehensions, by the hand of the government, I can be understanding to a degree. I just feel like when it comes to something that's this massive, that affects the entire world, I personally think some of those thoughts or misconceptions should be pushed to the side just a little bit. And I say that because, you have people out there who are getting sick. And they say, well, I did everything that I was supposed to do. I thought I was doing this. I thought I was doing that. And, these are the people who are against the vaccine, who are unsure about the vaccine. These are people who plan to get the vaccine, but, they can't get to it, or it's not available, and stuff like that. And then I think one of the problems that bothers me the most is the people who claim that it's not available in their communities. And I can speak to that firsthand, because it's like me being on, the COVID team since February with the National Guard. It's like, if we are out on a corner in 90, 100-degree heat offering vaccines in disenfranchised neighborhoods, I really can't buy the fact that it's not available, especially when you have Johns Hopkins, which is one of the top medical institutes in the world, also out there with a big van, and is broadcasted on the news, hey, they're going to be here, they're going to be here. Some of them arguments are just nonsense to me. But, being as generally safe, and, a lot of people are against it, yes, people have their fears. I get it. But I think the microchip one blows my mind. Oh, they're going to put microchips in. It's like, wait, what? I don't even think that our technology is that far yet to where they can put microchips in a fluid and inject them in your body. But maybe it's me. I don't know.
I'll put it to you like this: with our government, I put nothing past them. And again, I'm from Alabama. I've, had people in my family who lived in the Tuskegee area, when all that supposedly went down. I can't say I talked to any of them directly, but again, I'm just going off of what other people in my family have told me.
Right.
Again, I just, knowing what I know about this nation, and again, that's me doing my own research. I strongly have my own opinions. For those opinions, I won't go in here because I don't want people thinking, I'm this or I'm that. I just feel that people are entitled to their own opinions. But it's kind of like, let me put it to you like this. If you fuck me over once, shame on you. If you fuck me over twice, then shame on me. So it's kind of like I took you at your word that you would be cool with me or be honorable with me, and then you fuck me over. So then you want to come back and say, oh, okay, well, yeah, I did fuck you over, but I'm going to make it right with you. But I'm going to start here. So it's kind of like, for me, no, we're good. We're good. You do your thing over there, I'll do my thing over here. We don't even have to fuck with each other like that. So I'm not giving you a chance to fuck me over again. Point blank, period. And that's just, how some people feel. And I think that, there's nothing wrong with that. They're entitled to feel however they feel. On the bigger spectrum of things, though, again, when it comes down to this issue, we're being told that, this is something that started in China. We're being told that. But there's evidence out there that says otherwise, for those, who are willing to go that deep. And again, I won't, bring those reasons out here, but it's out there. Just like there's evidence saying that it is all natural and it just happened to come out. I mean, whichever direction you want to go in, there's evidence to support it. Whether one man think that this is true or another man think that is true, whichever direction you want to go in, there's evidence to support it, for it, or evidence against it. It's just which way you want to go.
Yeah. To play devil's advocate and to piggyback off of what you said. The devil's advocate part is, a lot of people out there saying, oh, I don't trust the government. If you screw me over this time, you screw me over this time. Take that to the micro level of every individual and look at every individual and say, well, how many people have you fucked over in your lifetime? Oh, but that's different. No, actually, it's not different. How many people have you fucked over in your lifetime? They called you out on it. You apologized. They either forgave you or didn't forgive you. How do you address that in your heart and mind? And then, then you take it on the macro level, on the bigger level, and it's like, how do you differentiate between one and the other? For a lot of us, in many ways, and not just the vaccine, just in many ways, we legitimately feel that the government has screwed us over in many aspects of our lives. On the flip side of that, the government has been very helpful in other aspects. It's just that we are forced to separate different areas of being screwed over and being taken care of. And this vaccine is one of those things where it's like, it's really on both sides. For a lot of us, we look at the experiments, the the unjust experiments, I'll say, and then we have to look at the medical wonders that we've had. Um, so you have to play that. Then you also have to, just look at what you're researching. And as you said, there's evidence to support whatever your position is. A lot of people sit there and say, "Oh, God got me this, God got me that." And I'm looking at them like, you cannot pray a damn pandemic away. You just can't. That's just like saying, "Hey, we're not going to make a vaccine. We're just all going to sit here and pray and wait for it to go away." Now, religious people, y'all understand that things happen in God's time, as y'all say. How many people got to die in order to get through a pandemic if we all sit down and pray? Then, you got to look at making the vaccine. And you pray. You pray that it works, and you pray that everybody gets healed. Um, you, then if you look at religion and science, was it religion first, or was it just the natural order of the galaxy and whatever? So yes, everybody can find whatever information to support whatever position. But at the end of the day, as Sun Solex says, and as I firmly agree, do what's best for you. Just because I took the vaccine myself doesn't mean you have to take it. You may be encouraged to take it because I took it and I didn't have any side effects. I didn't die, this, that, and the other. But don't take it because I said so. I am fortunate to be in a situation to where I'm around nurses and doctors 3 days out of the week delivering vaccines to people. So I am fortunate to have this wealth of information around me. I don't have to go poking around on Google or in the library, this, that, and the other, which would be so time consuming for me. But as for Sun Solex, it's very rewarding to do that because he can say on his own, I researched this. I'm comfortable with the answers that I got from my research. Cool. And I can say, I've done minor web searches this, but I'm around nurses and doctors all day, so I'm comfortable with my research. I've talked to my primary care doctor, so I'm comfortable with the answers I got there. But that's where it is.
Yeah, it's definitely there. Again, the thing is that some people just like fucking drama. I'll be real. Just some people just like
that is true.
Freaking drama. So with this whole thing going on, this kind of like gives them, another battery in their back or a little more gasoline in their gas container to throw in the fire or whatever. But of course, some people go to the extreme. Like they're real big on seeing this thing is fake and it's all a big conspiracy and so this and that and so forth and whatever the case may be. But it's kind of like picking up a book, right? There are gonna be some books you read, they're gonna be really great books, and you're like, I really got a wealth of information from that book. And then there are gonna be some books you're like, that was a waste of my damn time. So that's kind of like how people are. Some people are gonna give you a whole lot of good information you can use, and some people the information they think they're sharing with you isn't worth repeating. So this whole pandemic thing, again, you just have to, again, like we said, do what's best for you.
Yeah.
But don't let people influence you or scare you into not taking it. Don't let them scare you into taking it. Again, you are an individual. You have to make your choice. Like I was discussing with Soul Toucher, I have a young man who's an acquaintance of mine where his parents are basically kicking him out of their house because they have taken a shot and they have an elderly person that lives with them who has taken it, and he doesn't want to take it. He doesn't feel comfortable taking it. And they basically, drew the line in the sand and said, either you take it or you're going to have to move on. And unfortunately, he's kind of taking it personally. And that's the sad part about it is I get their disposition on it. You know what I'm saying? I totally get it that, they have an elderly person with them and, they feel comfortable with it. So they just want to do what's best to protect themselves and protect the elderly person in their home. But unfortunately, they're asking him to move out. And he's saying, well, if that's what I have to do, then that's what I'm willing to do because I don't want to take it. But again, the thing about it is you can't take it personally.
Right. Yeah. And you had mentioned that. And the thing about it is delivery. Delivery doesn't only matter from person to person, friend to friend, family to family. It matters all across the board. And people need to take the hard negative attitude outside of it if it's just a general conversation. Now, when it comes to family and stuff like that, to a degree, it is different because it's like, these are your loved ones and they want what's best for you. So, people may get overly passionate about it and you can't take it personally. You just really have to be understanding, especially if you have people who have underlying conditions or immunocompromised and stuff like that. You just have to understand where they're coming from. And hopefully, people do their research on the vaccine and, get all the information that they can instead of saying, oh, no, I'm not going to take it because I don't think this. It's not about what you think. It's about what you know. And you have to know things in order to make decisions. You can't make decisions off emotions. You can't make decisions off of other people's opinions or whatever the case may be. You have to follow the knowledge in order to make a rational decision when it comes to that.
Yeah, it is. I hate to put it like this, but it's almost like you have to damn near look at it from a business perspective.
To a degree.
It really is like that. You can't take it personal because people are doing what they feel is necessary to protect their lives.
Mm-hmm. And the people around.
Yeah. So if someone, doesn't feel comfortable with you being in their space, then they just don't feel comfortable. And again, this is their son. They're asking their son to move out because they have, I believe, his father's mother living with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big thing, man. It really is, and it's a hard choice. I'm sure that it wasn't easy for them to say, you got to move on because this is their son we're talking about here. But at the same time, they have to protect the elderly person that's living with them. So
yeah, I don't think you mentioned that part that the parent's mother was there.
Yeah. His father's mother is there.
So with that being said, I definitely can agree with the parent's standpoint because she's probably 70, 80, 90 years old, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I believe she's in the late 80s.
She probably has other things going on or just the overall thought process that at her age, she is fragile,
right?
So to speak. So, from that perspective, he to me, he has no right to have an attitude about that. That is your grandmother. You know your grandmother's immune system is not as strong as yours. And for you to have an attitude because your parents are like, yo, we love you. You are a child and we want to make sure that you're healthy. But you have to look at your grandmother is here as well. And although she's at the age to where she can probably go at any time, or she can probably make it another decade, we just don't want to do anything that's going to compromise her health. But a caveat to that, you said that the parents are just out in the public doing them.
Yep.
So it's kind of like you have to make sense on your position. If you're gonna come at me and say you need to take the vaccine because this, and your grandmother's here, then I'm gonna come back and be like, well, I'm not out in the streets as much as y'all. I understand where y'all coming from, but I'm not out in the streets as much as y'all. And just because y'all vaccinated, again, does not mean that you cannot catch it. It doesn't mean that you're not asymptomatic. So if you're going to put this on me, then you should also take better precautions. Now, I can't so much have this compromising conversation with you in your house because it's your house. But you can't come at me like that when you're doing X, Y, and Z. You just can't. It's just disrespectful. Again, I understand grandma's there. She's in the 80s. Got it. But if you're going to come at me like that, you need to check yourself too.
Definitely. I think what it comes down to, and this is just a general statement, is people are going to have to make some very hard choices.
Oh, yeah.
Some very hard choices, because this thing is seem like it's getting to a point where some states are mandating that you take it if you're a state worker or if you're in the healthcare profession. And there have been a lot of people who, have basically said, well, if that's what you're making me do and I don't feel comfortable with it, then I guess I just can't work here anymore. And that's fine. Unfortunately, you put in all this time, with this company or corporation or whatever the case may be, and this whole thing has come about and it's changing and reshaping the format of our society. So again, people are going to have to make some hard choices. It's a good thing in a way, and it's a bad thing in another way. It's a good thing because a lot of new businesses are getting started. A lot of people are going to business for themselves. And then it's a bad thing because a lot of people love what they do. They love where they work. But again, they're basically being forced to either you take it and you work here, or you don't take it and you no longer work here. I think personally, everyone should be in the mind frame of, I have to weigh my choices delicately. Meaning, again, you should be thinking ahead. Don't just go off of what's right here in front of you. You better be thinking ahead. That's the best advice I can give you when it comes down to actually making a hard choice.
Right. But I want to respond to that after we come back. I don't want to jump into my response because, I'll get long-winded and I don't want this segment to be out of, parameters for the elements. But Circadian Nightlife Podcast, Soul Touch of the Poet, and my family.
Sir, we in here.
We in here. We'll be back.